Okay, I guess you can see.
Yes,
now?
we can see your screen.
Great. Thank you very much for being here. It's a great honor. My name is Yosi Shavit. I'm the head of ICS Cybersecurity Department in the Israeli Ministry Environmental Protection. I will talk today about cybersecurity of industrial control system with emphasis on hazardous materials. I established our department 5 years ago in order to give solution to the hazardous materials industry. A little bit about me. I have more than 25 years of experience in information security and cybersecurity. It includes IT and OT network, a lot of hands-on activities, writing methodologies and regulation. Today, in my position, I instruct and control and enforce more than 4,000 businesses in Israel. They are under our regulation. It includes all the list that you see here from hazardous materials industry through water corporation, Israeli electric company, water treatment plants, seaports, airports, pharmaceutical, hospitals, and so on. The common of all of them that they have hazardous materials, if it's toxin materials or flammable materials. So let's talk about factories, how they look like. We have some old factories, we have different factories, all kinds of factories, but there is one common thing with all these factories, which called ICS, Industrial Control System. The industrial control system consists of all the components that you can see here on the screen, HMI station, PLC controllers, field devices, sensors, and at the end of the chain, we have the hazardous materials, or in other cases, the production floor. And we have all these devices talk to each other by commands or by indication. And the attacker is sitting here very quiet, waiting for a convenient time to attack. By the way, it can attack each one of these components, and it can attack the network, and just sitting here and wait. So today I like to kill a few sacred cows. Everything that you know from the world of IT is completely different from the world of OT, and I will explain. You can see the move, you can hear the move. So the first one is safety. Safety. We all know, all the IT experts will tell you about CIA, confidentiality, integrity, availability. Actually, it's the basic of the information system. But when we're talking about OT system, we're talking about safety. I'm talking about different triangle, very different. I don't care about confidentiality in the production floor. I take care about the safety, about the reliability, and the productivity. We're talking about human life. If something went wrong with safety, I have problem with human life. If I have something get wrong with the confidentiality, so I lost some data, I have some mail corrupted, and that's it. The second issue, updates. So if the operation manager in the OT network, in the ICS network, get this message, update firmware, yes or no, to do it or not to do it. So if you push, if you push the yes button, maybe something can go wrong with the firmware. Maybe he update different firmware to different PLC. and it can have disaster in the production flow. But if you push the no button, he just let himself to be exposed to the attacker because the vulnerabilities in the devices still there. Third issue, passwords. So we all know in the IT network, a password is very usual to put a complex password, but in the OT network, and I visit the industry a lot, at least 2 or 3 times a week, I'm in the industry, in the factories. It's not password, it's maybe pass the word. And I mean, some cases, we have some cases in the industry. Case 1, case A, there is no password to the PLC because the PLC is very old and doesn't have the ability to use password. We have another case, there is no password because the operation manager needs to respond quickly. So there is no password in the PLC. Case C, there is a default user and password. The technician came, installed the PLC, and that's it with a default user and password. And we all know that we can find this user and password in the website of the PLC company. And last case, they changed the default user and password, but put very simple user password. Everybody in the factory knows, including the suppliers, know the password of the PLC. Of course, we want and we require the industry now to put unique and complex user and password, and also we require the company by 2FA, two-factor authentication. Next issue, can I stop the production system to upgrade? Maybe to do segmentation, maybe to upgrade the software. The answer is no. In OT networks, maintenance time is once a year. You can't update every day. You can do it, and we have some compensate controls to solve this problem. I will talk about it later. Visibility. Of course, in IT networks, we have firewalls, we have IDS, IPS, antivirus, CDR. So we have visibility, we have eyes into the network. We know what's going on. We can monitor and we can use SIEM/SOC to know what's going on in the network. But in the OT, nothing. So we ask the industry to put some collectors, to put some devices to gather the logs and even to take these logs into a SIEM/SOC system. Next issue, who is responsible for cybersecurity at the OT network? We all know that IT network, the CISO is in charge and take care of the IT network. So when I ask in the plants, who is responsible? So answer A is no one. No one responsible for the security of cybersecurity of the OT network. The next answer is CISO and operation manager is in charge of their bounds. So the operation manager is control the OT cybersecurity and the CISO in the IT cybersecurity, and they not cooperate. The answer should be the HSE. HSE is a new function. I see it more and more in Israel. HSE for health, safety, and environment. It should be deputy director under the director general, and he controls both guys, the CISO and operation manager, and he has the responsibility for the cybersecurity of the plant. Here you can see segmentation. So I go to the plants and they tell me we have segmentation, we put firewalls, we put bidirectional gateways. We all set, everything is okay. the OT network is isolated. But when I come close to the plant and I go to the rack, what can I see in the rack? You can see here. You can see a controller connected with a phone line, and the phone number is right here. I deleted it, but it's right here. So even if your network is isolated, someone can control your network from remote. So you have to look at the rack and to take care of this. So let's talk about some threats to the OT network. So we have three main attack vectors. The first one is from the internet. We all know the mail phishing. Users download malicious files from the internet. Maybe user buy some flight ticket in victim site and download the malware inside the IT and from there to the OT. This is the traditional vector. We have another vector, direct access to the PLC, and we saw it last year in Israel when attacker attacked water corporation. They just collected IP addresses and attacked directly the PLCs. But the third attack vector is the most dangerous one, is the inside threat. We're talking about unawareness employee, but more than this, we're talking about disgruntled employee. He has the physical access, he has the permissions, and he has the motivation. So we have to take care of the inside threats of our employees. Next threat to the OT network, the ERP. Every factory, every plant have ERP system which control the inventory, the human resources, the sales, financials, but also control the recipes which goes to the OT. We don't want any connection from the IT network to the OT network. As the guy from Waterfall said before, one direction from the OT to IT for the managers to know what's going on. Nothing is going from the IT to OT. So we have to take care of this ERP, to harden the ERP, not to give too much permissions in the ERP system. IIoT. Everybody know what is IoT in our home. If it's a smart vacuum cleaner or air condition, but we have in the factories IIoT, industrial Internet of Things. Machines talk with each other, and they talk to the cloud, and they talk to the internet with industry protocols and other protocols, and it's they expose to cyber attack from the cloud, from the internet. Remote access. Remote access. We give suppliers, we give integrators, we want everybody to help us, so we give them access inside the SCADA system to HMI, directly to the OT system. We put some team viewer to control from the web, and in many cases I can see Windows XP or Windows 7 without updates. We export the network to the remote access. We should not do it like that. We should do it with, as some speakers before told us, with 2FA, encrypted VPN. We have to check compliance of the computer that control, that remote in our network. We have to identify the user in the domain controller, not in the firewall, as I see in many cases. We have to give access to terminal server, and from there to the OT, to the other terminal server in the OT. That's how we should do it. And if you want to be more safe, you can change the RDP ports. How to protect the PLC itself. So I ask every plant to put some threshold value in the PLC for to limit the temperature, the pressure, the pH level. Never skip user and password in the PLC. Isolate it from the IT network, as we told before. Maintenance, just do maintenance just with dedicated laptop in the factory with hardened laptop. And of course, you can apply built-in protection. As you see here, every PLC has manual, and you can follow the manual and apply built-in protection. We also have old PLC without built-in protection. How we protect old PLC? For example, this PLC with the key, we have 3 positions: run, remote, and program. Of course, we have to put it in run mode. This is the desired mode, not in remote, as you see here. It's very comfortable to put it in remote, but never do it because it let the outside attacker to do whatever he wants in the PLC. Of course, we have to install software updates and install hardware updates as well. What else? Network segmentation. As I told you before, the guy from Waterfall, Mr. Kerwood, talk about unidirectional security gateway. It's the best way to isolate the OT network. You can use also firewall. You can use some other physical separation, and maybe many cyber startup company, at least in Israel, have creative solution how to isolate OT network from IT network. So how we deal with the update issue? I told you before that I don't want any HMI station or PLC to connect it to the internet. So how we're gonna do it? So you can, instead of installing updates, you can defend the HMI station by virtual patching. In the layer of firewall, in the network layer, you can close all the exploits to this HMI station. Same PLC. If you don't want to update the PLC in the production floor, you can do digital twin, you can do digital shadow simulation. You have many ways to do it in the laboratory environment, and when you see that it's okay, you can move it to the production floor. Visibility, put industrial IDS, not IPS. We never prevent, we never block, but IDS to have eyes, to have visibility. We have to put some collector in the OT network to accumulate logs and put them into the SOC system. So if we assume the cybersecurity of the controllers and industrial process, so we have to protect the controller, we have to do segmentation, we have to have visibility to the production floor, we have to take care of the supply chain to do the remote control better than we do it now, to harden the ERP. We have to, we need protection agreements with the cloud provider. And of course, we have to take care the internal threats, employees, awareness, and of course, reliability. To solve all this problem, we developed a very unique cybersecurity guide to our industry. As much as I know, it's the first one in the world. It's based on a very hard field work in the factory. It took more than 4 years to publish this guide, and it's also based on the NIST CSF cybersecurity framework. You can download it for free from this link below, and you can ask me. I wrote this manual, so you can ask me about this manual. We have inside a work plan for the plant, how to raise the cyber resilience, how to do risk assessment in the ICS hazmat environment, and we have a list of required control to ICS system. very specific to the ICS system. We translate this manual to English at the request of the OECD, and also presented it physically in Europe for Europe countries, in Asia, in Singapore, and this year actually in UAE, in a CyberTech Global Dubai 2021, we presented this guide. So if you have any questions, I'm here for you. If you don't have time, you can mail me, you can call me by phone or message me, WhatsApp, whatever you